21 years since their debut album, Slipknot are as bold, fearless, uncompromising, and visceral as ever.
It's not my fault that a lot of simple minds can't understand us.
With over 30 million sales, countless streams, and awards to their name, and a legion of devoted fans, they remain one of the biggest bands of any genre on the planet.
We walk out on stage and it's just rammed. We still look at each other and go, what is happening?
But it's not been an easy journey, with turbulence and tragedy following in their wake.
Death isn't gonna stop Slipknot. Original members not being around isn't gonna stop Slipknot.
Their phenomenal success dictates that you will normally only see them perform on arena or festival stages in front of tens of thousands of people. But today's different. Today, the iconic nine-piece are here at the historic Maida Vale Studios with no stage, playing in front of just a few dedicated fans for BBC Radio 1. Trust me, you will never have seen them like this before.
Slipknot Live is interesting. It's all adrenaline, frenetic thoughts, trying to kind of keep a lid on it, trying to hold yourself back because you want to perform well, but at the same time, you are just absolutely gagging to get this show going. And it's like this collision of nervous energy and anticipation from the second it starts.
There's gotta be an easier way. Look, haven't aged a day. Can't even tell.
You are willing to do whatever it takes to make this the best show that anybody's ever seen.
Slipknot Live is like nothing else. 9 guys on stage, playing aggressive music. There's not one single moment on that stage that's wasted for them. And I think there's very few bands that 20 years in their career still have that intensity.
A total explosion of your senses. They literally just grab you by the throat, shake you around, throw you to the floor, stamp on you a little bit, pick you back up, headbutt you, and that's what a Slipknot gig is like. It's never slowed down. They've just been one of those bands that have been incredibly impactful on anybody who's come in contact with them.
Then you see 70,000 people jumping to this thing that came out of your head. That's one of the greatest feelings ever. There's an adrenaline rush to that, aside from just playing on stage, that, you know, you become a junkie for it.
We compare it to jumping out of an airplane, with or without a parachute, and you don't know if it's gonna open or not.
You know, this band is a arena, stadium headliner, festival headlining act, and to have them play in a room of such a small capacity, you know that that is just going to be like some hurricane coming in here and lifting the roof off, and those lucky people that are in seeing the show are going to see something really special.
To be able to get up in London and be able to come to the BBC and become part of history, it's a big deal for us, just an honor.
I was actually at the first Slipknot show, 95, at what was called the Safari Club. We heard the rumblings that Slipknot was going to play, and they ended up playing that night. They walked through the audience. They came through us. They didn't come from the backstage. They walked through us and were like pushing us out of the way. All I can tell you, it was the most cacophonous noise I'd ever enjoyed in my life. It was theatrical, it was engaging, it was antagonistic. The fuel for everything that we would eventually kind of jump into headlong was right there. And I remember saying to myself, I'm going to be the singer in this band. A year and a half later, I was.
Having worked with the band for over 20 years, it's the same band. Better performers and they're better players because they've been doing it so long, they've honed their craft, but it's that same intensity that they have in their heart that they just can't wait to give out to everybody else.
To be honest with you, I don't think I could describe a live show. I mean, we're obviously very active on stage. It's like a 90, 95-minute cardio workout. It's kind of a blur, you know, for me.
I was with Slipknot in 1998 when they got signed to Roadrunner Records. It was Ozfest in Camden, New Jersey. And I was in the audience waiting for the band to go on. It's before the record was out, before people really knew who Slipknot was. There were thousands of people running over the hill to get to the second stage. There was blood, there was violence. They were just so captured in the moment that they just can't control themselves. There's all these extreme moments.
The injuries have stacked up to a point where it's like, be careful. It's the things that are starting to happen because of the longevity of the band. It used to be these sort of things like bones and things like that. Now it's the responsibility of making the decisions I made. I have the worst tendonitis and carpal tunnel from hitting a keg with a pipe. It's called shock. When you use metal on metal, and the point of this, the vibration has to go somewhere. So it goes at the bottom of the keg and it goes up my arm. A normal person would just quit using the pipe. But I can't get the sound out any other way. It's part of the recipe. There's no sense stopping now. So I gotta walk out on stage and literally be like, dude, you're going way too fast. You need to bring it down.
The vomiting and all those stories, I mean, this thing has been a learning thing for us from the beginning. The reason the vomiting was happening is because, you know, we're playing Ozfest. It's 99 degrees out. We're wearing masks and coveralls. We're making $20 a day per diem, no salary. We're not getting paid to be there, you know. We all quit our jobs. We're all stuck on this bus. So you eat when you get a chance. And then you pack your belly full of food and you're on stage doing all this and it's like, oh God, I ate too much. You know, we had to learn to, okay, dumbass, don't eat, you know, 4 hours before you play. Try to get some energy, some food in, like, you know, like.
Well, these days it takes a lot longer to get ready for a show like that, man. There's a lot of stretching, there's a lot of Advil. You know, it's not just about just throwing everything around and hoping that it sticks. We know the mindset's gonna be there. It's just about coaxing the physicality back into it and just making sure that, you know, we're all on the same page. It's one of the reasons why the huddle, since day one, is so important. We always make sure that there's a point where we all come together and become a band. And we stop being 9 people and we become a band. And that is, to me, what sets the tone. And as soon as we step on that stage, that's not 9 dudes out there just peacocking. It is a band that is ready to tear your fucking head off. Masks. God, what can I say that hasn't already been said, to be honest? The Masks have changed definition-wise for me over the years. When I first joined the band, it was an amazing way to kind of tap into that antagonism. Dare I say it, that theatricality. We were still trying to kind of figure out what we were, you know? And as we wrote, as we really started to kind of fill in the blanks as far as like the music goes, the Masks took on a whole different meaning for us. The Mask now is a representation of the person I used to be. We all change, we all evolve. I'm not the same pissed off jackass that I was 20 years ago, but I remember him. I remember why he was like that. So when you have that type of relationship with the person that you were, putting on that mask represents putting on that face and putting on that head and putting on that thought process. Having to tap into things that maybe you would like to forget, but you know that by doing that, you're helping other people. You're letting them let stuff go, whether it's their first show or their 20th. You're allowing them to release that energy. Instead of maybe, God forbid, hurting themselves, they're screaming into the ether and letting that go. It's a way to unlock my pain. It's a way for them to let their pain go. In a lot of ways, it's a way for us to strengthen our resolve in trying to move past it. It's the people who get stuck in that can't move on. You start spinning your wheels in a moment of pain, that's all you're gonna feel. But if you can get the traction to get past it, you can explore and find yourself in a different life, you know? And that's what I was able to do with Slipknot and wearing the mask.
The Masks in the beginning was like, it was sort of an anti-image statement. It's like it's not about who we are, it's about what the music is.
It's something very clever that they did early on, and I'm glad that they've kept it and they've not been tempted to take them off.
The second I put that mask on, it hurts. There's a whole ritual that goes about it because you're putting on the uniform, you're putting on the makeup for underneath, you're putting on the mask to go on top of it. It's a great way to get into the mentality of Slipknot, that war zone in your head. And I can tell when I've put it on too tight because then my brain is just throbbing the entire show. Those are usually the really good ones.
I'm not like one of the most secure people you'll ever meet, so I feel like with the mask on, I can like be that pretend rock star that, you know, that I always dreamt about. And without it, I'm a little bit more like kind of like reserved and drawn in a little bit, and I kind of hide behind the monitors, you know. But with the mask, it's just like, here I am, full roar, you know, uninhibiting, you know.
It's surreal. I really feel like I accomplished something. You know, that's what it does to you. It puts you in a place for 90 minutes. And when you're done, I'm like, God, even if I had a bad show, I had to have had a good show.
The overall image of Slipknot is always going to be about those masks and the music that's behind it. It's part of what they are.
You don't even know if it's me, man. That's the deal. I could be a paid actor. A lookalike. I'm a lot thinner than the other clown, I'll tell you that much. Slipknot's a very odd thing. There's already 3 new guys. This is the greatest band ever. It's Walt Disney. It's the Muppets. It's whatever you want it to be.
I don't know if you noticed, but we are actually going to give you a song each from each album that we have put out. So right now, we would like to give you a song off of .5, The Great Chapter. Would you like to hear a song off that album, my friends?